So, Christmas is over for another year, and some of you have already turned off the Christmas music. No judging here. It's really up to you. And some of you are already thinking about when does the tree come down? We put ours up early and like to keep it up as long as we can. Well, not like March, but still. It is always a little bittersweet to me that it's over and now we move on. But I want to talk to you about that. What's left? I did not grow up with Christmas, as I've said before, and always felt I'd missed out on something very special and wonderful because I had. My wife's folk, however, they invented Christmas. They get started early and they do it incredibly well. I can remember just every year being overwhelmed with their generosity, their kindness, the gifts that were given, the decorations. It just absolutely left me speechless, and not many things do. One thing, however, I thought was passing odd. I had seen on television people opening presents. Even though I didn't do it as a child or young man, I saw them open, and the paper's going in all kinds of directions, and their kids are woo and are running around and diving in and grabbing another one. Not at my wife's people's house. And Cammie has always been a very precise and exact and orderly individual. That's why she's been very well known and sought after as an interior designer. It's going to be done perfect, and it's going to be done beautifully. Well, her and her brother and any of the other guests that were there, they would all sit around, and somebody would choose who goes first. Maybe it was the one that found the Christmas pickle. Go back 2 weeks ago and check on where that came from. 3 weeks ago, maybe. They would then go in, get their present, and they would say, "Oh, look how beautifully wrapped it is." They look at the card. "It is from so-and-so." And everybody's going, "Oh, well, so-and-so." Then somebody off to the side is a scribe. Now, they didn't call him a scribe. In the Marine Corps, in the Royal Marines, they would call them a scribe. The person keeps all the notes and does all the diagrams. And they would say something like, Patrick, get a gift to Patrick from Jerry and Martha. That was my in-laws, right? And then you were to open it. Now, with them, they open it so precise, you could use the paper again. And yes, they would flatten it out. Now, these are not OCD individuals. These are not, people that are, super tight with money. No, to them, this is part of the beauty of it, was to save things and put this off over here. I know to some of you, this is like a visit to Mars. To others of you, you feel like you're being validated for the first time in your lives. And the bows were always put in a different pile. And there were bags there to receive any refuse. This is before recycling became a thing. Open it up. Then you have to show everybody what you got. There's only one gift being done this at a time. I was going, "Oh, look at that. It's very nice." And they'd write down what you got and it's from whom, so that later you could write a thank you note, because they do that. They are polite and they are cultured individuals, and I love them to death. Absolutely love them to death. So, and by the way, in the thank you note, it wouldn't be thanks for the gifts. It'd be thank you for the scarf. It's very warm. I enjoyed it with this day. Thank you for this because I did it. You were very specific about your thanks and how it had improves your life. So it was just wonderful. But it was so slow. Literally, they would stop opening presents at a certain time because it's time for us to have our breakfast, which was, it was a thing. All right. And then you come back and you do it again. It made it last. And it made it very special. Now, I think kids running down the stairs and paper flying in the air that doesn't settle for 2 days, I think that's very, very cool too. One of these is not better than the other. All right. But with both of them, it comes to it all, it's in the trash bin. It's at the recycle center. You got the new stuff, and you're arranging it around with your old stuff. And there's that sense of, well, what about the next day? That's a good question. If we do it right, we have spent some time with our family. We've got memories to take with us. We've got ideas of lights and colors to go with us. We have the celebration that goes with us. And the celebration should continue because as believers in Christ, Jesus' arrival on this planet changed everything, not just Christmas. It even changed December the 27th. It changed April 15th. It changed all the dates. It changes everything. Everything now becomes a spiritual event. Even just going through a drive-through and getting a meal is a spiritual event. Think about it. Because it's so handy, there's so much food that you don't even have to get out of your car. Just drive around, talk to a clown's mouth, go up, exchange bits of paper and a little disc of metal, and then they hand you this food-like substance, which, part of it is the correct order, part of it's not. It's a nice surprise like Christmas. And then you eat it. It's a foodish kind of thing. And if you eat enough of it, you will be a spirit sooner than others. It's a spiritual event. The Ethiopian eunuch's not the only one who should be going on their way rejoicing. We should all be doing that. It's brilliant. It's brilliant what God did for us. And so what's left behind? It's not just having to take down a tree, take things out to the curb in the recycle bin. No, it's more than that. Acts of love were done here. Sacrifices were made here. And now we move on to what? More love and more sacrifice, but just in different ways. We don't have to have massive parties on New Year's Eve, but we can if we want to. And we don't need to be drunk, and no, I don't think you should if you want to. I think that's just another way of spending a lot of money not to know what's going on. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Instead, enjoy being with those you love. And if you can't be, Christmas was crushingly lonely to me. I left home early, and when Christmas would come, I was often in the house alone because I felt God did not approve of Christmas. I'd been told that. So there were no decorations, there were no parties, and I would secretly watch shows like, in America, the Andy Williams Christmas special, and I would ache inside for something like that. Of course, Andy Williams, the wife there, left him, and she had tragedy in her life. What we saw on television wasn't real, but boy, did we want it. Well, why don't we just make it? Why don't we just treat every day as a special day where Jesus has come down? So what are we going to do with him today? How are we going to show him today? So that Christmas doesn't go in the bin, but it lives within. And it's a part of who we are. It's a part of our smiles, our words, what we're going to do now. The way we're going to set up our lives now is to make sure Jesus is in it, because Jesus happened. And that changes everything about the day that comes next. May God bless you. Have a wonderful new year. The videos will continue. I pray that your support will continue as well. Remember to like and subscribe. That's massive. When you click the bell and you subscribe, that makes everything happier for us and makes YouTube give us a lot more room and move us up to search, closer to the top of searches. So do that for us. If you can support us financially, do so. If you can come to the sound stage and visit with us, we would love that. But however it works, Jesus happened. Make sure you act like that every day. May God bless.